Chapter 6011. Simon originally thought that $100 million was already an astronomical figure, and the price he offered was completely enough to show his sincerity. But how could he have imagined that after Helena heard the offer, she didn't even bother to negotiate the price and turned around to leave? He had just felt the real effect of the medicine. 1/10 of it had such an effect. Taking a whole pill would definitely make him recover as before. So how could he give up this golden opportunity? So he quickly shouted, "Your Majesty the Queen! If there is anything, we can discuss." But you turned around and left. Why? Helena said lightly, "Mr. Rothschild, I never like to talk about cooperation with people who don't understand clearly. In Mr. Simon's opinion, his health is only worth $100 million. So with all due respect, what else do I have to talk to you about? I can't compare with you. Although I don't have much money, in my opinion, my own health must be measured by more than this little money, right?" Simon was speechless for a moment. He did not expect that Helena would raise the issue of pricing to his net worth. See what this means: if you have more money, it is reasonable to spend more money? How can he talk about this when he is worth $1 trillion? Should he just give her 300 to 500 billion? At this time, Helena thought of something and said, "Oh, by the way, I received a piece of news today that Che Wang's family is going to auction his private car to pay for Che Wang's treatment. It is said that Che Wang has been in a coma for many years, and his family has suffered a lot. Hundreds of millions of euros have been paid for his treatment. Let me give you an inappropriate analogy. If it were Mr. Simon and were unconscious in bed, would your family only pay $100 million in medical expenses for you? Or you just want them to pay more?" Simon's face burned. At first, he did realize that the price he had just quoted was a bit stingy. Secondly, he didn't expect Helena to speak so directly, which really didn't save him any face. So, he could only say in a low voice, "Your Majesty the Queen. If you think the price is too low, you can just say a price." Helena said lightly, "Mr. Rothschild, before I make the offer, before talking about the price, I hope you can understand that the reason why I brought this elixir here is to save you from fire and water. Since it is to save you from fire and water, then you must refer to your worth when you are in fire and water. How much it is?" After saying that, Helena added, "You must be the only one who knows Mr. Rothschild's current situation best. The stroke not only affects your actions, your language, and your quality of life, but also affects your entire status in the family. The role you play in the family, if you regain your health, you can postpone your original decision to give up the position of head of the family to Steve today and continue to play the role of the patriarch. But if you lose your health, you will lose everything." As soon as Simon heard this, he knew that if he wanted to get this pill today, he had to be prepared for heavy bleeding, and there was no chance of saving money. So, he could only bite the bullet and say, "Your Majesty the Queen, I understand everything you said, so please give me a clear price, just give me a clear price." Helena nodded and said coldly, $100 billion. Simon's eyes widened. How much?" Helena repeated again, "I said, $100 billion. Simon blurted out, This is outrageous. 100 billion. $100 billion can give this country, build a most advanced aircraft carrier fleet, and maintain its operation for at least 2 years. Helena nodded and smiled. Yes, $100 billion can not only build the most advanced aircraft carrier fleet, but also send humans to Mars and bring him back, and maybe even enable them to build a Disneyland on the moon. At this point, Helena asked, "But what does Disney on the moon mean to you? $100 billion spent on these places can buy everything, but only you can't buy your health back." After saying that, Helena added, "Actually, if Mr. Rothschild can give up himself for the family, he can completely save this money and let this money play a greater role in the future development of the family. At that time, maybe your descendants will build a monument for you to commemorate you." Simon felt a pain in his liver, and while covering his abdomen, he waved his hand and said, "Don't stop talking. Since it's a deal, you can make a price, then I can bargain, then I will come up with a price that can be achieved in one step." After that, he stretched out 5 fingers and said firmly, $50 billion. No more. If there is more, even if my body recovers, I will be mentally depressed. When I think about spending hundreds of billions of dollars, I am afraid that I will not be happy in my old age. It can easily cost hundreds of billions of dollars just to buy a pill. Simon was really in pain. Some people are poor and generous even without money. But some people become more stingy when they get rich. Some people believe that health is something money can't buy. Some people think that when health is too expensive, they might as well just give it up. This thought in Simon's mind can be said to be half true and half false. What's fake is that he is actually very eager to get back to health. After all, he lived a wise life and ended up like this after suffering a stroke. The gap is too big. But really, he really cannot accept spending $100 billion to buy health. He couldn't die from a fucking stroke. Compared to staying in bed and jumping around, the latter would cost $100 billion more. At this time, he couldn't help but think that he could at least save $100 billion by staying in bed. In fact, Helena didn't really want so much money from him. According to Charlie's psychological price, $1 or $2 billion is already very good. After all, their main purpose is not to make money but to take advantage of Simon and his son Steve. And now Charlie has added a new demand, which is the AI model mastered by this family. Therefore, her psychological price today is actually $10 billion. Plus a set of AI models, as long as it can reach this condition, is already considered a success. However, she also knew that Charlie just let go of bargain side and handed these things to her. But she could never communicate with Simon according to his bottom line, and she must try to win as many benefits for Charlie as possible. So, she looked at Simon and said calmly, "Mr. Rothschild, we don't speak secretly. What I want is not just cash, but also the AI model that your family invested in. So, my final offer is this, $50 billion in cash, plus a 100% replica of that model. I want your team to go to Northern Europe to build an exact set of AI models for me. From hardware to software, it is not allowed to be any different. And I ask you to do simultaneous updates and upgrades for me. In other words, whatever version you upgrade to in Silicon Valley, my version in Northern Europe will be upgraded to this version at the same time. The maximum delay shall not exceed 1 hour. Also, all knowledge bases in the AI model must be fully synchronized. And you must always maintain this system for me, and you must not stop maintenance for any reason in the next 20 years. Simon, when he heard this, he suddenly became anxious and blurted out. That AI model has been spotted by the Department of Defense. Its commercial application prospects are also very broad. It is estimated in the future that the value is no less than $100 billion. After organic integration with other industries, the added value may be even more immeasurable. Your Majesty the Queen, you are simply having idiotic dreams.